Hi everyone, happy Monday and welcome to this channel. Today we're talking about the newest fragrance releases. This is a weekly series that I do here every week called Smash or Pass, where we just talk about what's new and I share with you my opinion about whether or not I want to try them or not, just based off of the notes, the marketing, all that fun stuff. If this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances and I talk about them here every week, Monday through Friday, 5 times a week, and I also do additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. I also just launched a brand new podcast. You can find that podcast right now on Spotify. I'm working on getting it available everywhere else. So for now, it's available there, and I am so excited about the content that I have planned for that podcast. This week, I'm actually working on giving you a fragrance history themed episode where we're going to be and we're going to be diving into some women in fragrance and their impact on fragrance as a whole. So I think you will find that interesting as well. I plan to do many more history-focused podcast episodes, but also go into some other topics as well. So with that being said, there's a lot to get into today, so let's get started. First up, we have a new release from House of Brandt. This is going to be called London Fog. So if you love tea, this is definitely one to keep an eye out for. This will include notes of bergamot, Earl Grey tea, vanilla absolute, steamed milk accord, whipped honey, musk, ambergris, lavender, and smoky accord, as well as sandalwood. Now, I have tried a few of House of Brandt fragrances. I'm very much looking forward to this one. I'll see if I can snag a travel size of this. This looks like an interesting release. I feel like I was a little bit late on the bandwagon when it came to tea notes. Not that I ever disliked a fragrance with a tea note, but I haven't really been obsessed with them except for recently. Recently, I have started becoming more curious about them, so I am very much looking forward to getting my hands on this one. Another fragrance to look out for is from the brand called Day 3 Fragrances. I believe they'll be at Sun Explorer, so I might get a chance to sniff this in person. But this is called Aylan, and this is, yes, created especially for Sun Explorer, and this is named after the founders or the perfumer of Day 3's daughter. So she's 16 years old, and the perfumer's name is Michael Paul. This perfume will have top notes of resins, pink pepper, and bergamot, a mid of Bulgarian rose, orange blossom, and cashmere, and then a base of oud, saffron, and vanilla absolute. So yes, I will be smelling this at Sun Explorer. I will report back and let you know how it goes, but it looks like one of the main accords here is definitely oud, so it looks like it'll be a very predominantly oud fragrance. I am curious about trying it out, so this will be something I am looking forward to exploring. I haven't really tried this brand out much before. I don't really know too much about them, so of course I'm looking forward to learning more. Next up, we have a new fragrance from Nautica. This is called Pure Blue. This is marketed as a unisex fragrance with top notes of orange, lime, eucalyptus, a mid of marine notes, birch, and amber, and then a base of Madagascar vanilla, cedar, and musk. I like Nautica fragrances. I don't think there's anything to dislike about them. I don't know if I'll get this myself because I'm not necessarily looking for another Nautica fragrance, and I feel like Nautica, for me personally, I don't like wearing Nautica fragrances, but I like them on guys. So if you're a guy and you're looking for a new fragrance, this might be one to try out. But yeah, there are a lot of really good classics from Nautica that I quite enjoy. It's like one of those popular, straightforward brands that has good fragrances that are pretty accessible, but they're not so typical that they're boring. They're kind of interesting, but they're like a, little black dress in terms of, men's fragrances. So Fragrance de Bois has a new fragrance called Lucious. This is going to launch as a Harrods exclusive for 390 euros, and this will have top notes of pink pepper, bergamot, and mandarin orange, a mid of orange blossom and cedarwood, and then a base of amber and tonka bean. In the article that I'm reading about this fragrance right now, it says that this is embodying the spirit of a modern champion, summoning your inner lion, and igniting a powerful transformation of strength and character. As many of you know, sometimes I really chuckle when it comes to these sort of scent descriptions. I find them rather funny sometimes when they end up being a lot more serious than they actually are, if that makes any sense. But I feel like this is like one of those fragrances that I would be open to trying out. I don't know if I would necessarily be like going out of my way for it, but Fragrance du Bois, they're one of those brands that are very aspirational. I do want to get some of their fragrances at some point. I have a few on like my ultimate wish list, and that will happen in the future, but I don't know if I would necessarily start with this one personally. Next up, a new fragrance from Swiss Arabian. This is Tobacco 01. Now, I actually could have actually bought the decant for this. I was thinking about it, but then if I'm being totally honest, I don't really love tobacco and fragrances. Every tobacco fragrance that I've tried, I've been kind of like about, and like I have yet to encounter a tobacco fragrance that I'm like, yes, this is it for me. But this is a fragrance with notes of apple, cumin, pink pepper, plum, and licorice at the top, a mid of patchouli, ylang ylang, ladanum, and amber, and then a base of tobacco, honey, sandalwood, vanilla, musk, and cashmere wood. Now, like I said, again, this is one of those fragrances I would be interested in trying, but I am a little bit nervous about the tobacco note, so that's why I haven't actually bought this fragrance or even tried a decant because I feel like I wouldn't like it, but I would be open to trying it out. I feel like there's a Swiss Arabian store in New York. I need to make a mental, or I need to make a list of all the fragrance related places I need to hit when I go to New York. Because I mean there is a lot, and I haven't been to New York in like a few months now. So it's high time I go and sniff some more things, of course. So I will see if there's a Swiss Arabian store in New York. I feel like there is. And if so, I will try this there because the fragrance by itself, I'm not sure if I'll go for it. Like it's just tobacco is not my thing. There is a new fragrance by Clean Reserve. This is called Whipped Cherry. Let's delve into the notes a bit. Y'all know my philosophy when it comes to cherry. I like cherry in certain perfumes, but sometimes when it's done in like a typical way, I'm just not amused by it because I feel like it can get very repetitive quite easily. There are a few favorite cherry fragrances that I love, but most cherry perfumes I'm very skeptical about because more often than not, they usually kind of like slot themselves into the lost cherry DNA, and I'm not into that. Like, I want something a little more unique and nuanced. So, this perfume has top notes of wild cherry, pineapple, and coconut water, a heart of mimosas, almond blossom, and apple blossom, and then a base of praline, vanilla cream, cherry, and cedar wood. So yes, this is a very cherry prominent perfume. I can't necessarily say that anything about this is making me think, wow, this will be so unique and interesting that I have to try it, but Clean Reserve is a brand that's pretty readily available in places like Sephora, so I have no problem with going in store and smelling this perfume. So I would be smelling it, but I doubt I will actually purchase it because, again, it's not giving me that unique quality that I'm looking for in a new cherry perfume. And I literally just bought a cherry perfume, so it's not like I hate cherry fragrances. The fragrance that I bought was like cherry with wine. I actually bought two of those, one from Liquide Imaginaire, the other one from Hair Fragrances that I will be talking to you about, of course. But yeah, like I'm not looking for a cherry fragrance that has this particular composition at the moment. Okay, so new from Tom Ford, we have the fragrance called Bois Pacifique, and this is going to be launched in, it says it will be launched in 2025, but it says it's already available. Okay, but this has top notes of cardamom, fresh turmeric, and akigala wood, a heart of iris, resin, and wood, and then a base of cedar, oak, and sandalwood. Not gonna lie, this sounds like it will smell absolutely delicious, and I like this kind of bottle. Like, I really like the look of this. I definitely will be trying it in store. Do I own any Tom Ford fragrances? No. Am I going to? Not my first pick as a brand, not gonna lie, because they're one of those designer brands that just price their fragrances like luxury. And I get it, like I'm not negging them for that. Like I just, it's not my thing. It's not like something that I'm like, yes, I need this. It's like in some cases, it's overpriced designer, and I'm just not looking for that. But I definitely will be checking this out in store and smelling it and reporting back to you. But I don't think I've ever smelled a Tom Ford fragrance that I'm like, this is amazing, I must buy it, you know? you know. So yeah, but I kind of, you know what, I wish they just, you know, like the quintessential Tom Ford kind of square rectangle bottle. Can't they just make all their fragrances look like this? Because like this to me is giving elegant, it's giving refined. That the normal packaging or the normal bottle design that they have literally looks like plastic. Like I don't get it. Like I'm not a fan. This, in my opinion, is better, more elegant, more high end, justifies the price, at least in terms of the bottle design. And by the way, a fragrance, most of a fragrance price or like most of the cost of the production goes into the bottle design. So if you have a fragrance with like a custom bottle or like a very intricate bottle, that means the brand spent more money on producing that, especially if it's like a custom component. If it's a custom made, then it costs more money. For example, let's compare something like Forever Mood to Clean Reserve. Just random comparison, right? Forever Mood, they have those custom components when it comes to their bottles. Clean Reserve, just cookie cutter, normal, not much customization at all. So you can pretty much come to the conclusion that the Clean Reserve bottles cost a lot less to produce than the Forever Mood. And yeah, when it comes to the Tom Ford bottles, I mean, I wouldn't say these are at the same level of like intricacy as and customization as the Forever Mood ones, but I wonder what their cost of production is for their normal bottles compared to this, because their normal bottles, they're kind of like this lightweight plastic, and I can't really feel that and understand why they cost so, like they charge so much for their fragrances. It doesn't make much sense to me. I like the fastest. I like the intricacy of something like this. So I know that's me going into the details a lot, but I find that kind of thing interesting. So yeah, let me know. Do you care at all about the Tom Ford bottle design, or do you literally wonder why I talk about them so much? So next up we have a new release by YSL. This is Black Opium Glitter. As if we needed a Black Opium flanker, but okay. This has top notes of marshmallow and black coffee, a heart of sugar accord and white florals, and then a base of musk accord and vanilla. So I don't really speak about Black Opium much on this channel, and the reason is, to me, like I've never really smelled the coffee there. To me, it's always been like this, like kind of like watered down coffee vanilla fragrance, and it doesn't necessarily smell bad, but it's one of those situations where you have a brand marketing their fragrances smelling a certain way, and then you actually smell it, and you're like, hold up, this is like not what I was thinking about when I thought about it in my head. And Black Opium's kind of like that. I do think it's kind of interesting that they put the marshmallow in there as a fragrance note, because it's almost as if they're trying to inject a trend into the Black Opium DNA just to sell bottles. And I'm not saying that marshmallow is irrelevant as a fragrance note, but if you look at all the other notes, it's literally the same. And I can't imagine the marshmallow will be adding something that different and nuanced to the overall Black Opium. Um, yeah, like I Black Opium is not one of my favorite fragrances, as you can probably tell. I just don't feel either way about it. I'm not a super fan. So I will be trying this, definitely. I'm just not quite sure why they needed to do this. I mean, okay, so we're talking about bottle design earlier in this video, right? Flankers are really cost effective for a brand because essentially you're just recycling a previous concept, and it's pretty easy for a brand to do that because you can capitalize off of the notoriety of your previous fragrance and also come out with something that's like different. Um, I have only really liked one Black Opium flanker, and that was the green one. I know, big surprise. But that one was my favorite. I'll try this, I'll report back. I don't really have too much expectations. I will be honest. Well, you know what? Scratch that. Let me backtrack. The two flankers that I like would be the cherry one, the a Black Opium over red. That one's good, and the green one. Those are the two that I like. The other ones, including the original, I'm like, not my favorite. Not my favorite. I know. That's just my opinion. So there you go. Next up, we have Afif by Lattafa. This is one of their opulent bottle designs. You literally have two peacocks perched on this bottle with top notes of bergamot, peach, and pink pepper, a mid of jasmine, orange blossom, and tuberose, and then a base of amber, patchouli, praline, and sandalwood. I will be trying a decant of this. Something that I have noticed with a lot of new releases from Middle Eastern brands is a lot of the time the scent profiles tend to merge in with each other. They tend to be very similar to others. And the pros of that is you're kind of able to try a good variety of fragrances. So if you like one note in one perfume more than another, and you're like, okay, I wish I could take this perfume, but have like a different version of it, you have the ability to do that with some of these releases. But my opinion is that a lot of times when you have a lot of perfumes that are very similar, it kind of makes me very cautious about blind buying some of these scents because even though they're marketed as something different, in reality, they end up smelling kind of similar to something that I might have already tried or something that I already have that's from that same brand. So, because I already have a few white floral fragrances from Lattafa, I'm going to exercise a bit of caution because I don't want to have repetition in my collection. So I'm going to get a decant, and of course, I'm going to tell you what that is like. So do stay posted for that because when it comes to reviewing decants, it's literally so easy. All I have to do is just like buy the decants and do the review for you, and I feel like that's much more helpful than like stockpiling bottles and bottles and bottles. But yeah, I will be talking about this soon. So next up, we have a new fragrance from Navitus. This is in collaboration with I Am Noel, also known as Noel, and this is a gourmand fragrance called Tempt Me Not. I actually met Noelle several times. She is such a fun personality, very funny, quite witty, very knowledgeable about fragrances in general. She does a lot of content primarily on TikTok and Instagram. So if you're interested in bite-sized reviews and just content with a lot of comedy and a lot of humor, she manages to do that in a very natural and very authentic way, and I do appreciate that. But something I really want to say is Noelle, not only does she do a great job of promoting her own content and promoting other brands, but she also very much champions creators and opens a lot of doors for others in her industry, for other like for peers in her industry. And I can definitely say that the reason why I have been able to work with a lot of these brands, to work with a lot of the brands that I am very happy to work with right now, is because she has opened those doors for me and she has helped me kind of get into those spaces that I need to in order to interact with these brands. And that has been such a blessing for me and so much of a help. So I really just want to spotlight that side of her and, talk about her new release. And this is a fragrance that's going to be a gourmand perfume. This opens with notes of milk, froth, and brown sugar. It has a heart of caramel, toffee, and heliotrope. And then the base is Madagascar vanilla, Latin American tonka, and Indonesian benzoin, as well as musk. And this is created by the perfumer Christian Provenzano, who is responsible for a lot of the Navitus fragrances. I know this will be available at Scent Explorer, so I very much look forward to testing it there. I feel like lactonic fragrances, they can go either way. They can either be kind of like sour to my nose or they can be like very creamy and luscious, and I'm very much looking forward to testing this out. Noelle actually introduced me to Chabaud, by the way. She was the one that kind of first told me about Chabaud, and before that I didn't really know too much about them. And I love Chabaud now, so I feel like our tastes would be similar when it comes to our interpretation of the electronic note and what we like. So I'm sure this will smell delicious and I very much look forward to trying it. And I will, of course, report back to you and tell you how it is. We also have another new fragrance from Lattafa. I did miss this one earlier. This is a new fragrance called Najdia Intense, and this is a men's fragrance with notes of mint, ginger, pineapple, and apple at the top, a heart of lavender, marine, and geranium, and then a base of patchouli, sandalwood, musk, and tonka bean. To be completely honest, I am like always super picky with the pineapple note, and I know this is not marketed for women, but I mean, I don't necessarily think that should stop you from trying it, but the reason why I probably won't be trying this one or why I'm not really interested in this is because I'm not like a huge fan of the way Lattafa does their like apple or their pineapple notes. To me, they tend to be like a little bit too syrupy. So that's just a personal preference. That's why I'm probably not going to go for this. Also, it's marketed towards men, so that makes me think that'll be like a more masculine smelling mint, and I'm more into like tea mints. So yeah, this is available, this is new, so if you're a guy and you like the notes that I just mentioned, this might be one for you to try. Alright, so those are all the fragrances I wanted to talk about today. A lot of really interesting ones, but I am very much looking forward to Scent Explore. I'm sure there'll be a lot of really interesting releases, so I'm looking forward to trying them out and of course sharing them with you as I know about them. So this time next week we'll have a lot to talk about. To be honest, I get back on Sunday and I film these videos on Sundays, so I'm hoping I'll be able to film a Smash or Pass video for next week. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted, but regardless, do subscribe so you can stay updated about all my content. And I also do leave polls for you guys to answer if you want to see certain types of content or if I want to get some inspiration. I usually will ask you guys in my community tab to answer some polls or some questions. So if you want to interact, definitely check out that tab. And it does help if you're subscribed so you can actually get the notifications about those polls and about those posts. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!